Every situation can be seen in more than one way, which is something that we really stand on,
Yes.
principle that we believe in firmly.
Yes, every situation. I think it's factual. Because perspective is not a choice. Perspective is a matter of positioning.
That which you focus on, if your flashlight of your awareness is on a type of thing,
Yeah.
chances are you become trained to notice those types of things in everything,
Yeah.
all around you. You will find yourself much easier to believe bad things than good things. The average person that your heart and mind will be very aligned against fears as opposed to potential positive things to come. Everything has a right to be. That's also a concept that I learned that has been very fundamental to me, that has allowed me to not fight so much what is happening to me, the good, the bad, everything in between. And notice those are labels that I associate to that. What does that even mean that something is bad? So the unpleasant, we shall say, the unpleasant, the pleasant, and everything in between. This right here is really only the manifestation of previous ideas, previous decisions, previous circumstances. Now, let me focus my entire attention on what is ahead of me, so that whatever comes next does not cause me to complain, to have the same emotional standing towards it. All right, friends. So today we are revisiting a concept that we've covered before, and this idea of the fact that every situation can be seen in more than one way. And what does that even mean? And there's many ways that we can approach that reality that has become so fundamental to us, that has changed the way that we approach life, the way that we do all the aspects of life that we're involved in. And today, the angle that I personally want to take, because I have no idea what Christian is going to say here today, as always, this is a part of the conversation, but I wanted to talk about complaining. That is really what I have in mind for today. And when I reference to complaining, what I'm talking about is things happen in life. You have situations that happen, and usually you complain about things that are lasting for a long time, that are ongoing in your life. And we always hear, at least I get to meet a lot more strangers than Christian in the season of life. We would ask somebody, "How are you doing?" And then they say, "I can't complain. All is well." I'm like, okay, why are we even taught to not complain? What is it about complaining that really is so detrimental to us, to our life, to the quality of our life as a whole? That is really the angle that I want to approach today, as we discuss the fact that every situation can be seen in more than one way. I don't know if you have something to add to that before I dive in.
Honestly, when I know the title of the conversation, I thought to myself, this conversation I've been was many times. Okay, well, I was like, I want to have a different conversation, but obviously after exchange, you convinced me that there'll be another thing to get from the well. So I came almost with the game plan regarding the conversation, because I asked myself, at the end of the day, no matter what I say, when it comes to a shift of perspective, the service the shift of perspective. So I honestly keep interested. See which direction will I click it, and will I have things to add?
Yes.
Will it be different in any way? And at the end of the day, I just realized that repetition is one of the tenets of learning. So if we're trying to give you something useful, as we are thinking through ideas that help us change and grow personally, there is some usefulness in doing them multiple times with different examples, with different point of view, and with different even setups for the conversations. Because then you never know what resonates with a person. When it comes to this subject of complaining, for me, it is more related to the power of words than is related even to perspective.
Okay.
So, but I do see why perspective, it would be something a way to broach this subject. Because, well, if you judge your perspective, then you truly don't have anything to complain about. You can take away the need for complaining if you change your perspective. But here's the big questions. As you know, good questions. That's how they learn, really. The big question here is, why do we care so much even that somebody complains? What does that do to you? What does it do to me? What does it matter to complain? Is it bad to complain? what it makes me feel better when I'm stressed out, that I can actually feel better, relax, that I had my good or complaining, And there is this term called venting.
Mm-hmm.
Venting is just, people will come to me, oh, let me just vent for a little bit.
Yeah.
And they will unburden themselves. Is that a bad thing? Should we stop it? Is it complaining? What's the difference between venting? What is the difference between venting and complaining? Is it? So, all of that are things that can be discussed. And all this is just coming to my mind right now because often with these subjects, I try to prepare my mind even passively to where should I want to go. For this one, I was like, okay, I don't see this conversation being new. So I'm just going to be there and it's going to be new. So that's where I am.
Yes. So as it pertains to me, I know the person that I was, and you know the person that I was a few years ago. We grew up together and all that stuff. And when we started B.E.F, this vision behind B.E.F that is to grow and become things, you will observe it evolve over time. There are a few things in my life that clearly have changed. A few ways of looking at life, a few perspective changes along the way that have helped me look at situations in a different way. And it is undeniable that my life, though the circumstances have not really changed all that much, my attention is just on different things. And I find myself complaining far less. In fact, I find myself complaining not at all on most days, on the vast majority of days. And why is that important? That's a really good angle to take. And to me, it's very tightly related to perspective change. Because when a person complains, let's say, what is an example that is easily understandable? Let's say we are in Missouri right now, or in the Midwest in the United States, and we are prone to tornadoes and hailstorms and that sort of thing. You go to bed, and there was a bad hail, there was a bad storm, and you wake up, your car is all messed up because you parked your car outside. And then you have somebody who will just accept that as a part of life and things happen. Then you have somebody else who uses that as a way of confirming the fact that life is tough on them. When it rains, it pours. Things are really hard on them. And it ruins a day, 2, 3, a whole month potentially, because that could have been somebody's car who does not have insurance. And all of a sudden, this effect is changing, reshaping entirely your life for that duration of time, which could be, I don't know how long, until the next bigger problem from your perspective comes over. So this is very tightly related to perspective change to me. And let's talk about what is complaining. And we are familiar with complaining and venting. Is there even a difference about that? This one in particular, I talked to my wife about that a while back. She was at this horrible job for a long time. And from her perspective, she was venting to me. She was just airing things out and opening herself up to pour évacuer, comme on dit en français, but to get rid of all the negative aspects of whatever job, the job that she had. And I remember that became our routine. Every morning when I drove her to work, and it's just a 12-minute ride. And she would unload daily, day after day, about how things were rough, about how things were not good, about how all these things. After a while, I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. So I told her, hey, listen, I believe that, and I use the word whining, which is a third term, that is closer to complaining than venting to me.
Come on, man.
And I told her, we've been doing this for weeks now. We've been doing this for weeks in a row. This clearly is not helping. And we'll talk about why I believe it's not helping as the conversation evolves. So at that moment, she thought she was venting, and I thought she was complaining. My definition of the two, my difference between the two is one of the two thinks she was a victim. And to me, that is complaining. And the other one is just a person unburdening themselves of any trauma, of anything that is in the way, in their mental approach of life. I can discuss my problems with you. I can discuss my problems with anybody without painting myself as a victim who's suffering through life, against whom life is unfair, who is seemingly the only person who's having a rough go at life. So that is the simplest way that I can define, that I can differentiate between complaining and venting. What say you?
I think they are the same, even though one of them will require a bit more discipline. At the end of the day, it's pontificating about the negative event happening to your life. That's the way I see it. You know, is it helpful? I don't know. Do I do it sometimes? I try not to, the best I can. Does it help me? I do not know. But I'm to myself, venting, complaining, same thing. It's just a little bit of head rest to it. You know,
Yeah, I disagree with you on that one. That's what
because that's how I look at it. Because there are people who complain about events that have nothing to do with them. They're not the victim, they're not whatever, but they just complain about events that has nothing to do with them whatsoever. You know, that I cannot take that. In group settings, I mean, group setting, we're having a conversation, and that's why I feel lately I haven't been doing well socially in groups. I don't know, this is impatience to me lately, which I need to address, to be honest. But I cannot have a conversation, a complaining conversation about the economy of Europe with a person. You know, it doesn't require, at least what we differ, the difference for me, it doesn't require for a person to victimize themselves for complaining to qualify as complaining. Because I've experienced people complaining, but if there's nothing to do with them, it's like they get energy from lamenting negative events. Just me crazy.
I think in that case, the person is victimizing a third party, thinking that I'm doing my good deed. I'm being a good Samaritan. I am lavishing compassion on the people of Gaza or something. Oh, yes. But yeah, to me, I don't see venting. I do not vent. It's not a tool that is useful to me in processing difficult days in my mind, and my soul is in turmoil. But venting is it just so happens that for me, it really is not useful. For my wife, I can tell you with 100% certainty that she comes to you, she's having a hard time, her body's tight, you know, she's on the verge of tears, and so long as I give her, you know, you cannot fake attention. People can sense energy. I can just fake her from listening to you. Yeah. If I give her my attention, and she does not require advice, a word, or anything from me, just that loving silence, that attention, that gift of silence. And she unloads. She just goes from 15, 20, 30 minutes. I've sat through some long sessions, but that's the price to pay for marriage in some days. But afterwards, her countenance, her body language, her everything changes. She's back to normal. And she can continue on with her day.
So basically, just venting, it's just, doing about the wordplay. It's literally releasing pressure through ventilation. I mean, so she's under pressure.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Never thought about that.
So she's just, highly pressure system, and she just needs to release that pressure. And releasing that pressure by speaking about the things that pressure her.
That has spoken to me so far. If it's negative, I don't know of it, but I know it yields positive fruit. Because once she's had a good venting session, that issue does not circle back around.
Dude, did you know that at the end of the day, result are results? I'm a result-driven person.
That's far. So if venting is not my way of dealing with stress and dealing with issues of life, I have my other tools. And venting just happens. In fact, I'm one who prefers to isolate. Let me go isolate, let me go do my things, let me meditate, let me pray, let me, whatever it is. But you will not catch me, hey, Christian, you have 15 minutes, let me vent to you.
And I'm the wrong way.
So that is just not what I do. That is just not helpful to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it either. I don't vent either, as far as I'm concerned. As a matter of fact, I've been told that I'm too much on the other side of things in these situations. I'm outright unapproachable and cold.
At times. At times.
And separate. So, I mean, dealing with negative emotions, everybody has their way to deal with it. And I mean, this discussion is not about negative emotions. We shall be talking about that. The discussion was about complaining.
Yes.
Was about choose a perspective, right?
Yes. Every situation can be seen in more than one way, which is something that we really stand on principle that we believe in firmly.
Yes, every situation. I think it's factual. Because perspective is not a choice. Perspective is a matter of positioning.
And I would not pretend like I grew up understanding that very basic fundamental principle. It took me a long time. It took me some teachers. In fact, it took me several voices.
I learned that after school.
Now it feels fundamental.
Yes.
But in the past, I would just trust the first thing that came. Because our mind cannot help it. Our mind will try to make sense of what is around you. Your mind is a tool that is designed to protect you, basically. Make sense of life that you cannot make sense of because it goes beyond our mind. And whatever first mental perspective I had on issues, I trusted it. Okay, obviously there's nothing else. Okay, somebody, my bike, my pen is stolen. I'm pissed. Because that's the first thing that came. In that way, oh wow, that is almost like an animal instinct. You just instinct. You don't take time to reshape your perspective. Yeah.
And we know right now a point of view or to discuss this subject that comes to me is more about communication and conflict resolution.
Okay, go on.
Just understanding each other. Communication is hard. That's really still, we discover, and we're talking about complaining. We've not yet finished complaining yet. So eventually, let's go into complaining then, but
yes,
later. Because,
but you know this.
Yes,
I've actually never done this exercise in this way with a different line. We thinks complete, a different breed, this brother thinks completely differently as the boss. I've never actually dared to ask the question. It's simple. We know instinctively that complaining is bad. But at the very least, it annoys the people around you. They act as though they don't, my wife, my friend, whoever it is. But at the very least, if you are a complainer, you are likely to annoy the people around you. Why is that even bad in the first place? Like you said, maybe it's harmless. It's something that people just do, and it helps them go through life. And that is maybe their way, their tool that they use to navigate life.
No, I think it's bad.
What is that about? I am in 1000% agreement that it is not bad. It is insidiously bad. It's destructive. Yes.
I think it's destructive. Let me hear your reason. I'll teach you about that.
I'm gonna borrow again a phrase that I learned from a dear teacher. Is that the phrase goes like this? I don't think Peter Sage is the originator of this. But complaining is the glue that keeps you stuck to the situation that you're going through.
It's so true.
Why is that even true? What does that even mean, truly? It sounds nice.
Oh, man.
So, to me, it really boils down to your perspective, as you said earlier. That which you focus on, if your flashlight of your awareness is on a type of thing, chances are you become trained to notice those types of things in everything, all around you. So that's really what it boils down to. At the end, complaining may give you a short-term dopamine, I guess, spike. I don't know what it is. What is it people get out of complaining? But maybe it helps you. Maybe it helps you in that victimization mode. It helps you remove a responsibility for a little while. Okay, this is happening. It's not my fault. I'm behind because it's not me. Obviously, Christian has not dealt with the issues that I've dealt with. And then for a moment, that makes you feel good because it's not your responsibility. You're not the one who caused it. So you're delegating that, and it gives you that excuse that, okay, if only I had X, Y, and Z, then I would be well. All the while, that insistence on focusing on negative events, which would be the thing you're complaining about, is 1000% guaranteed to come back around in your life. And it's not that it comes back around in your life. It's more that you are seeing it in everything. In that way, in your awareness, you are spotting only the negative things. So that's how we put it simply.
Yes. I agree with you. I want to say it my own way. And it's another extra reason I think complaining is bad.
Okay.
But we're going to start with the first one. We're trying to put it in a very weird person. But that way you get used to it, but I think clearly. But here's the situation. Okay? For me, if I'm long term me, in our life at the end of the day, the experience of life is just a combining of different scenes you experience through time.
So as factual as it gets.
Yeah. So, in this moment, there is a scene, right?
Yeah.
And then there is another scene, there is another scene.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that complaining does. Complaining bring the bad stuff of bad scenes into the new scenes. So if you're going to experience your life in a sequence of scenes, whether you're complaining about something continuously, what you're doing essentially is bringing a bad experience in all the new experiences. Not letting move the bad experiences to experience your life positively. So, the reason why complaining is destructive is because it prolongs the torture. Something bad happened, okay, experiences fully and move on. Complaining about it just bringing you the new things. What are we doing? And being able to do somebody in life. That is my first approach of about complaining is bad. Because it's just not practical. It creates no positive change. So that is one area that you have to want to say something about it.
Yes, a person, before you indulge your thoughts, a person who's watching B.E.F right now is likely a person who's dabbled in self-development. There's a good chance that you've listened to some things. There's a chance of that. Man, there's something that has been accepted as a fact in the self-developing world that I've never really agreed with much, which is the notion that stay for a moment, look around you. All the things that are happening in your life right now is because you caused it. I've never agreed with that. So my point is, whether you complain about things that are within your control or outside of your control, none of those are useful. I mean, listen, the basic example, you're born into a sort of circumstances you cannot control. That already, at the outset, to me, personal points, whatever model of the world that makes people believe that everything that is happening is because of me. I think it's called radical responsibility or something like that.
Yes.
I think it's a useful by me kind of concept, but
I find it that way of viewing the world can be useful because responsibility is good.
Yes,
especially for young men. You don't need to take responsibility for the things that you do, for the things that happen to you, the things that you do, and all the things that you affect is a good thing in general. Because in a way, it helps, but it gives you a role that you shouldn't have. It makes you almost like God over your life. In a way. And we are not good gods. We are not merciful. We are not forgiving. We punish ourselves in ways that we cannot imagine and destroy our own life being that way. So that model of the world is flawed, though it can be practically useful. So at least that is my view of it. I don't want to go deep into that thread. That thread is the thing.
Go on where you're going.
Yes. So as I explained, for me, two reasons why complaining is bad. I don't see value in complaining. The first one is it prolongs your suffering because you are carried by the events time, right, with each scenes of your life. That's also one. And the second thing now, this is going to be a bit deeper. For those of you who have read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, a story of a young man who is pursuing something called his personal legend. All right. And in the journey, there is a skill that he has to acquire. And that is a skill of speaking the language of the universe. Because when you speak the language of the universe responds to you. And the truth is, the mechanism through which you speak the universe is words. But not any words. Words that are emotionally charged and that you believe. So what happens when we complain is, number one, we are in emotionally charged states of almost always.
Of course.
What that does, it teaches our body, our physiology, to love this moment because it's important and use it in other situations to avoid the same pain. So we are training our nervous system to behave in a way that we don't intend it to. That is one. And secondly, more importantly, believe me or not, I believe this from the bottom of my heart. The universe is listening.
Go on. I don't know. I was very fucking. I don't know. Okay.
When we put a highly emotional things that we believe out there in the universe, and we've not learned to speak the language of the universe because it can be really literal. We are attracting things. Our words are among the parts of us that resemble mustard. You know, the tools, the technology that God uses to create the universe, everything is words. That's what He used. There is something about what He put out here that listen to words for the purpose of creation. And that's how God created the world. But He made us in His image, like Him. And one of the things that He gave human beings, other than authority, is the ability to create their words. That's why you hear some kids' lives are transformed by the words of their parents. I know one of them. Or some people are in despair because of words they've been told their entire life. It shapes the kind of life they have. The words we pronounce, the words we hear, build or destroy us, they affect the kind of life we have. It's a real physical thing. So, a lot of times when we are complaining, we are saying things that we do not desire in an emotional state that is high, with a high level of belief, hereby fulfilling the requirements that the universe needs to capture something and bring forth something out of it. So accidentally, when we complain, we are bringing to ourselves more of what we complain about.
My study puzzle look is not because I don't understand you. I'm trying to, as you said very correctly earlier, communication is so difficult.
It's a skill
to getting a message across.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to bring that around in a way that is digestible and to give me, we cannot guarantee that we will be understood.
Right. But you understood me.
I understood you because in many ways we sat through the same classes.
And we didn't understand at some point. But eventually it was true.
We touched on a lot of things that our mind is trying to cling onto a few threads and go. But I want to stay within the scope of the conversation. Needless to say, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I know the importance of the spoken word. I know the importance of heart and mind alignment. I know that, strong emotion, strong power. And one of our teachers taught us this, and I don't remember what was the argument behind it. For whatever reason it is, that as human beings, we have a bias isn't the right word, but
tendency.
We tend to believe more firmly. We tend to have that heart and mind alignment more firmly as it pertains to negative things.
Yes.
I don't know the reason for that. It has to do with something about when we're born, the way that we're raised, and conditional love. I don't remember exactly why. When this will circle back around at some point in one of the conversations. But all I'm saying is this. You will find yourself much easier to believe bad things than good things. The average person that your heart and mind will be very aligned against fears as opposed to potential positive things to come.
Because the consequences are proven and drastic.
I guess that could be one of them. Yes, that could be one of them.
Like if you forget that meeting a lion on your path is tremendously dangerous, you are in trouble. You dare believe that this lion will eat me like he eats Jamal.
But the truth is, the lion or anything else, they're all just events. You have that bias, and our belief makes one more likely than another. On this complaining issue, one more thing that I want to add is everything has a right to be. That's also a concept that I learned that has been very fundamental to me, that has allowed me to not fight so much what is happening to me, the good, the bad, everything in between. And notice those are labels that I associate to them. What does that even mean that something is bad? So the unpleasant, we shall say, the unpleasant, the pleasant, and everything in between. Everything has a right to be. The best analogy, the analogy that I can use here is a grocery store. Walmart is one of the biggest ones here in America. But any grocery store that you've been to, any grocery store, convenience store, those places with a bunch of aisles and items, to buy from. Think about your birth as being dropped into one of the aisles. You're dropped into life or any bad event, really. It puts you in a certain place in a grocery store. You are in the fishing aisle with all the bait and tackle and fishing poles and everything. In my case, I have no desire for fishing. I don't care about fishing. But it is not on me to go to a Walmart. I don't own this world. Walmart is the image of the world here. I don't own any of it. I didn't create it. For whatever reason, I just find myself there. And I'm there. But I happen to be in an aisle that does not please me, that does not serve me, as far as I can perceive it. I don't have the right to call the manager of Walmart or the Waltons, people who are on their jet flying to I don't know where, come remove this aisle because it bothers me, because it's not mine. I don't have that right at all. What I can do simply is find my way into whatever aisle at Walmart that is suited to me. That analogy really helps me because it reminds me that I don't want to stay where I'm at. Number one. Number two, where I'm at, though it may not be serving to me, it is serving to many other people. It is useful to many other people. So I don't have a right to just uproot it and throw it away just because, yours truly does not like it. So everything is a right to be. And the reason for them to go beyond my understanding, it's a very pointless way of spending your 80, 90, 100 years on Earth trying to come up with explanations as to why things exist. At least that is my view of things. So because everything has a right to be, I can either accept it as is or move on to whatever it is that is suitable to me. So that's been very, very helpful to me in navigating these issues as it pertains to complaining.
Interesting. Something that is strange. I don't really understand well how the topic, which is ethnic perspective, really links to complaining. But we've gone one through eight in learn. To me, I'm like, wait, how did we get here? This way, you need facts alone.
To me, it makes perfect sense. You have a situation that you're looking with your eyes of complaint. You're looking at this is terror, this is bad. Why are you looking at it that way?
With your eyes of complaint.
It's just an event. It's just an event, and you move on to your energy. Spend it on the things that are serving to you. And even those bad things, that's my point. Those bad things that you're going through, inevitably, they're useful to something else. So from that, in that way, if you're able to dig deep enough and accept that, you know what, this hail that has happened, there's a reason for this.
Yeah, I mean, think about just practically. Let's say you have a clogged pipe.
Yeah.
And then water is overflowing.
Yes.
And you complain about overflowing. Right? Distress and everything. Like, if the machine was listening to you and decided to hold that water so it doesn't overflow, then it's going to explode.
That's only one example.
So, I'm just using this as an analogy. So, I don't understand what you mean by that. And I'm trying to just almost summarize what has happened according to complaining. So, what I understand right now, or what I'm learning, or reminding myself of, the subject of everything can be seen in from a different point of view, is that this can apply to complaining as well. Because, first off, complaining is a confession that is attached to negative event. Negative event are measured, or negative events that are created often by our point of view. You observe them. Because, well, for that reason. So basically, if you, as you say, you start looking at constantly things with your complaining eyes and indulge yourself in complaining, you've learned that is a bad thing. So at the end of the day, do not complain. Complaining is a no-no because it does not help you or it only helps you. And if you're a person who gets release from venting, I'm not going to speak of that as negatively or positively. All I'm going to say is just make sure that it doesn't turn into complaining. Would that be a good advice to give?
Yeah, and again, clearly you and I had a different definition of the two.
Yeah.
But I personally have no problem with venting, but complaining, I see the victim, you know, we will talk about identity in the future at some point. Today's not the day for that. But I don't see any usefulness in being a victim whatsoever. We'll dive into that deeper in the future for sure.
It's a disempowering position to be a victim.
Mm-hmm.
To me, everything is a relinquish responsibility for change over things that affect you. Don't do it. It's not a good thing. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't help you. The world does not respect you. You continue to be victimized until you crack.
As I consider this conversation nearing to its end, to me, there was one more thing that really cements for me this notion: how is complaining related to changing of perspective? This one was a hard concept to understand initially for me, but now I've made peace with it. The notion that, and I'm going to go a little bit metaphysical here, as my brother did earlier. What you see, what is already manifest. So your current circumstances as they are, they're actually a picture of what was and not what is. Meaning, this is already done. Whatever happened within your control, outside of your control, has resulted in what is now. And your actions now, what you're doing now, what you're focusing on now, will create another picture that you're walking to in 5 years, in 10 years, in a year, in a week. So it gives me some comfort in that way, that life is dynamic. This experience of life is dynamic, constantly changing, ever evolving. Being married to what is in front of me now is a poor way of living life. And in fact, doing that, I believe that circles back around to that idea of it's so good that keeps you stuck to it. Because if I keep my attention on the circumstances as they are, chances are they will remain like that. And I will have the same thing to complain about in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. Instead, my change of perspective as it pertains to these unpleasant events that are causing the person to complain is, whoa, this right here is really only the manifestation of previous ideas, previous decisions, previous circumstances. Now, let me focus my entire attention on what is ahead of me, so that whatever comes next does not cause me to complain, to have the same emotional standing towards it.
Okay, so if I understand you, what you just said, the present is the fruit of past decision and actions.
Yeah.
The present action happens in the past. And if you don't like our present, we need to create a new present, making decisions. Okay. Yeah, I see that with you. I see that going. Well, I don't know. Do you have time to go into the other aspect of this, whatever?
Oh, go on. I'm listening. I'm not sure where you're going, but
yeah, for me, when you say the cultural perspective, where I went was in communication, especially in conflicts. Too often we fail to realize. I remember being in conflict with people and telling them what are the facts, right?
Yeah.
Because what I cared about really in general, my normal setting was, these are the facts. This is what you're quarreling over. Let's land up with facts. And then let's get a conclusion and move on. What are we doing? It took a while to realize that the facts are wildly different depending on where you stand. The facts are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on who we are in communication and conflict, we need to learn to understand, to take the time and do the effort of shifting our perspective to absorb the facts that the person we're in contact with is experiencing. Because I've watched some family squabbles become long-term fights where in reality there is nothing there. But because we did not take the time to utilize this question that everything can be seen in multiple ways and use it for what it is, these broken relationships that just are broken because we're short in communication. And the empathetic step that it is really to learn, because it's key to learn, to detach from the emotional tethering, the emotional fire of the moment, and look at the situation from the point of view of others.
It's scary thought, isn't it? That no two individuals look at life the same way.
Yes.
And that divergence is greater or narrower depending on these two individuals that you pick. And man, life is hard if you don't have somebody to teach you these things. This is unbelievable. I agree with that wholeheartedly, obviously, that I'm coming to an issue. I may not even perceive it to be an issue, which happens quite a few times just because of my nature and the things that I care about, and also the fact that I may not care about too many things, apparently. And I also, I think, told that I'm cold and emotionless in certain circumstances. But there is a matter that is a non-issue to me, but it's an issue with the person that I'm interacting with.
Oh my
In
God.
fact,
That is difficult for me.
And their complaint, as they relate to me, or not complaining, as they report to me their issue, their grievance, now they use words inside there challenging my character, putting me in question. Now all of a sudden, okay, now you wanted somebody to squabble. Let's talk now. So all of a sudden, I come from a very different perspective than this person. And here we are, prolonging this issue with nobody willing to understand the other person for most people. And the divergence is just growing. You're going further and further apart, because everybody brings their ego in there. They don't have the same objective from the beginning. That's okay. We're on the same team here. We have an issue between us. Let's sort it out and figure it out and move on. But people want to be right,
And in a way, they create a real wound of the soul by demonetizing each other.
Yes.
When it has nothing to do with the stuff at hand. And there is this thing, realizing that as human beings, we really just create stories.
What do you mean?
Basic stories in our heads constantly about every single thing. And then we sometimes attribute those stories to other people and get judgments. Right? And that could cause a problem. So, I remember when I was in, I was in college, not college actually, was I still in high school? I think. No, we were still in high school I was in a different country. I had roommates. So, I had a roommate who liked everything to be completely clean all the time, every day. Right? But the problem is this, I have no problem with what you desire. I can accommodate you, right? But personally, I lack verbal communication. Let's say this person needs to clean the kitchen. The extent of their communication will be they'll grab cleaning supplies and place them in strategic places. Right?
That's okay.
So when I say cleaning supply, in my mind I'm like, just tell me. So now, I've lived in long enough with this person that, okay, I submit, you win. You cannot handle confrontation. You cannot handle telling me what you need. I'm going to learn to read you. Right?
So
it's unpleasant for me, actually. But for the sake of peace, let's do this activity.
Yep.
But then I carry this I carry this with me. The point where, that action of appearances of cleaning supplies will be a problem for me. If someone is like, just tell me what you want. But if it's like today I enter my bathroom and Ben has placed a cleaning supply there. For a second, it takes me up to that moment. But then I remember, wait,
So this is a real thing?
but it's really yes.
Yeah, so I remember. So,
But then I remember, oh no, Ben is different. Because Ben is helping me. He knows I will not know which product to use for what. So it's literally got the product that I can use. It was even for you see what I mean? So exactly. So all these stories, all these stories are being told by ourselves. This is the thing. Constantly.
I already guess that's funny.
Exactly. Obviously, I'm growing enough and instilling in that this is not a problem for me. I can navigate myself through this journey because I know. Oh, okay, that's cool. Now I'm sensitive to passive aggressive people. I know that now. Why? Because I've learned that I have a dominant personality as a person. So if a person is not confrontational, I tend to bulldoze them, and it's not helpful. So I've learned to try to capitulate to have despite myself, even though I despise passive aggressiveness. I've learned to I don't know if it's helpful or not, but maybe it's a bad habit that I need to figure out. Maybe have more communication with them. I don't know. But after it is more peaceful to try to understand their language and to adjust. But the problem is, I'm conscious that this has affected how I see communication in general around me. I'm still question: is this person being passive aggressive or not? What's the meaning beyond this small event? Obviously, I don't know. At this point in the stage of my life where I'm genuinely unbothered about these things, but it's still there. My data, my master code is being corrupted, and it's created a point of view. So if I don't stop, okay, I'm being a bit facetious with the example of the bathroom thing. Mm-hmm. But if I don't stop and I enter my bathroom right now, I see Ben has put, they think Ben is the annoying clean person, cleaning, rubbing every surface he can find, and I'm the opposite to his detriment. So if I don't stop my story when I enter my bathroom, and see a workplace all-purpose cleaning supply, if I don't stop my story consider your perspective, which is even not even real, because probably you just do cleaning and you forgot it there.
It's not like me. I like for things to go back to a place.
The fact that I forgot that there's a weird thing. So that's the conclusion. Because you go that there and goes and know you, I'm saying it is one of things. Person is unknowable here. So this must be for me.
That is a strange thing.
You know what I'm saying? But then I go further in this perspective game. Now there must be a reason, because when we are wrong, the reason matters more than the offense. It was a change for me when I realized that when we are wrong by somebody and it was a complete mistake and error, they did not mean to cause you harm in any way, it is easy to forgive, easy to understand, we can move past this. But when you're wrong with somebody and you discover it was their intent to wrong you, that is a very different experience. Mm-hmm. So the thing is that when you're in this situation, what happened about just see things differently is we tend to assign reasons to other people. What a foolish endeavor. I look at that, I enter my bathroom. I was already planning to clean the bathroom today, for example, because I know young fella is coming, right? So, but I was like, this is not going to be patient in extra day. It's really product placement for me. And then I giggle, right? Because I know that is not the case. And now I give you a reason. Like, as a matter of fact, I told you that I was cleaning the bathroom today. Because I remember I told you that. It's always, and I told myself, Ben knows I don't know which products to use. So he's leaving me a product that would be helpful to me. I decided if there was a reason, that would be the reason. You understand? Yeah. All of a sudden, my feeling it worked toward that event. Instead of being a negative and being judged, is a positive and being helped by my body.
And this goes to show the work that you've done on yourself over the years, over time, that you can choose to adopt a narrative that gives you the most amount of peace.
Yes.
And your heart and mind are relying on it, and you move on with your life. That is a skill you can't take that lightly.
I didn't notice myself getting there. It was slowly. So you would think like watching videos like these, they do nothing to you, but they do. Over the time, over the years, you start making different choices, believing differently. And you wonder, where did I get this from? And then you think you've ever realized, oh wait, it was the series I used to watch from this person talking about these things, And I know objectively different. So one big change that happened to me is just in the sense of our subject, everything can be seen in a different way. I learned to to almost never assign negative intent to people. And sometimes even when the intent was negative, which makes my life better and annoys people. Somebody's trying to be mean to me, I act as if it was a graceful, whatever, and then I realize, oh no, they're trying to actually be negative, but I'm so overwhelmingly in tune to find the positive, but their attempt was completely ineffective.
I think there is something that the Jordan Peterson said that applies to this conversation to me. He said that when you don't know somebody's intent, look at the result of their action, believe those results, and believe how it made you feel. Believe the perception of the results. It's most often than not is trustworthy. Because people tend to, this assumes that people are successful at their endeavors. But I found that to be quite true. And for one reason specifically.
Yeah.
Life would be overwhelming if we have to always take the time to reshape perspective. It becomes automatic in a way. As you said, become more positive in general, and that is your tendency.
Yes.
But I'm in public, I'm with my wife, we're going to eat. On the way, the server snacks her behind or something. So you want me to sit there and start to thinking about, okay, how can I do this positively? No, there's a nuance there that I can't quite put my finger on. But what I know is this: God has designed our minds in a very clever and intelligent way, right? To pick up patterns. So there is a certain level of trust that has to be earned in a way. For you to earn the benefit of the doubt, if I can put it that way.
Yes.
Right?
Based on life experience.
Yes, based on life experience. But if I do not know you and your offense, there are different degrees of severity to an offense. If your offense is on the higher end of the spectrum, okay. I'm not somebody also who resorts to violence right away. I'm not really a violent human being in general. So I'm not going to jump somebody and break their neck because they did something, So
I'm going to jump your neck. Don't mess with my people.
So, but I will not let an offense go unaddressed because my peace is too important to me. I cannot afford to go home. I have things to do. I'm thinking, no.
Bring him to your new slide.
I should address things. I'm also non-confrontational for the most part, but I reserve confrontation when it's needed. I cannot let things that have to be done be compromised because I just don't want to confront people. It doesn't give me joy, but if it needs to happen, it will happen. Anyway, my point is this. Your mind is designed to do a particular task, which is to fill in the blanks and to associate some labels to things that are happening for you.
Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
Every communication, every letter, every message.
Yes. So if something is out of the ordinary, if Christian he's earned my benefit of the doubt. But there are also some things that he could do that I'm like, okay,
why would you do this?
On this one, I'm struggling to reconcile, to put the dots together. Let's talk about this. And we've had many such conversations before. So I'm like, okay, I don't understand this. Let's talk about it. But for the most part, this is even a selfish endeavor to me. I'm too jealous of my peace. I know what it's like to be at peace. And that's not a life that I want. I will do whatever. I will take, if it is not affecting me much, you cut me in traffic, you cut me off in traffic, you flip me the bird, I will not give you any mind. I will not even care at all because my peace is too important. I don't know you. I will probably never, you'll see me on TV. I'll never see you again. So let me move on with my life. But that's my view on that. Everybody's
the start their own movies, the start their own life. I'm not going to bring you in my life. So I do agree with that. And I want to say that I'm not saying that I'm a pushover. they see the way I'm not. If you know me, I'm not. It is not a thing. If you want a battle, we shall battle and I shall enjoy it.
Don't bother me. I should not enjoy it.
Yeah, so don't do that. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, all been said, yes, there's an investment of goodwill and intention that is invested in my emotional bank account over the years. That I assume that his intention are for my good, not to harm me. So because of that, my self-talk is trained to give him the benefits of the doubt. But that is not everybody. As you say, you have to earn something. You have to earn something. You're not going in the street and getting away and have too much of perspective. But it's just for conflict resolution, this subject, I guess, which we talked about a lot of things on this topic. It doesn't very streamlined, but
I don't think we've quite closed that loop on the conflict resolution.
really,
That is
there is a lot to be explored in this. I don't fly on a very
Yes.
conversation.
Would you agree that most people are more concerned about being right? That they're more concerned, not really about the peace and the resolution of the problem, but that they were correct. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, that is a terrible and unhelpful way of approaching conflict.
If you are out there having conflict with people in the workplace or in any place, it's really difficult. Like, it means we're not united. Because I'm seeking peace. We have a mission together. We are at this place of work because we have a specific purpose. I need you to do your job. I need you to do mine so we can continue moving together. But if we have a conflict and all of a sudden for you it becomes an exercise in being right, in being correct. And here I am trying to listen. Let's work together. Let's move on together. And we can't even agree on what we're doing in the first place. That becomes so difficult in resolving conflict. You have to involve a third party. You have to involve the manager. You have to do this.
Being right.
Yeah.
Trying to be right in a conflict is prideful. Because it's eliminating the possibility that you could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. At the outset.
That's
a tough.
And having that wisdom to understand that despite the fact that every fiber of my being currently believe that I'm in the right, I could be wrong. And to find out if I'm right or wrong, I now have to switch off every triggering point that is in me right now.
Emotional maturity.
Yes.
Highest.
And listen carefully. Carefully to find out whether I am wrong. And because it doesn't feel good to be wrong, now go to the next step. I admit I was wrong, which is very unpleasant.
Yeah.
But that is a necessary journey to have any mature conversation with people. There are people that I cannot have a conflict with because I know, for example, beloved people, adult people, somebody that maybe here, I love them to death, but even if it became very obvious that they were wrong, not even because they were mean, because really they misinterpreted data, even when it becomes clear to death, they cannot admit it. For him, admitting it is akin to stabbing yourself in the eye with the fork. So when I'm around them, there's something I don't do. I just don't like you. About anything.
You don't feed into it, yeah?
Yes, I just...
Because whatever you feed grows.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're right.
You're right. And luckily, it doesn't even pleasant. They don't know. You know what? I get the bottom of things. I know we're not getting the bottom of anything, my friend. That's why I'm saying you're right all the time, because there is no reason for me to battle you in this manner. There's not the pursuit of truth. And this thing about my truth, though I understand what you would say, it's just me, Matt. So, I know, I don't understand that, conflict requires to contrast a conflict, because conflict is necessary for growth. Mm-hmm. Even a good story requires conflict to be pushed forward. Conflict is the thing that pushes us over the hump. The thing that my soul master grows us. Conflict is absolutely necessary. But it has to be approached in a manner to gain the most out of it. And how do we do it? By truly listening for the purpose of understanding the other.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it by trying your best to stand where they stand and look at the issue at hand from their point of view. A difficult skill to obtain.
You improve over time. Wow. Not wanting to prolong this conversation unnecessarily, but I just have a passing thought that I think is relevant to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been much better off, I think, if a lot of my schooling was focused on these soft skills. And there's an importance to technical skills as well, knowing how to, use a microscope and all these things.
Yes.
But how to communicate, how to show respect, how to show honor, how to value people, why is it this? It's not a big emphasis at school, at least the schooling that I've been, the formal schooling that we have in our society right now. And it's just so valuable. Can you imagine a teenager who understands? Obviously, communication is a skill that you learn over a long time. But I did not even think communication was a skill until up to 3 or 4 years ago, something like that.
That's crazy.
So
Because it's true.
I go through my life thinking that I'm communicating. All of a sudden, I don't even take into account the person next to me, the point of view, the perspective. These soft skills are so valuable, and you and I are united in an endeavor that is aimed at helping kids. That has to be something very important.
And why do you name it damn soft skill? I never knew where the term comes from. Because they are anything but soft.
Well, I don't think soft is in that sense. I don't think it's a derogatory term. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Again, sorry, this is one of my quirks. The origin of words matter to me.
I know, I've been knowing many of these. Let's go.
Because it is an attempt to share meaning. So usually they are composite. You're talking about venting. It made sense to me what the word meant. You know what I mean? And these skills, they require discipline to acquire. They are hard to acquire. It is harder to acquire some of these skills than it is to learn how to solve a quadratic equation. It is much harder to learn patience, to learn how to communicate better in the course of a conflict, because it requires a lot of things. First, it requires the ability to be respectful when you don't feel like it. It requires the ability to emotionally regulate. It requires the ability to defer offense until you have proper understanding. Because sometimes when you're arguing with somebody, they will say something, they mean something different than what they said, or what they said meant something to you that creates an emotional outburst. So you need to pause and say, no, that's what you need to clarify, which is something that we do often in our exchanges. To put that together, that is a difficult and an amazing thing. And that ability will carry you, that ability along with the ability to put your ideas together properly and transmit to another person, I think will carry you to success in almost every endeavor of life.
So you would prefer intangible skills instead of soft? That adjective is... Because you can't touch it. It's...
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But my point is, calling it soft skill, that name, my guess is, played a role in the value given to it by society, hence our schools is not focused on it.
I've never thought about that. Which happens a lot in these conversations, which is a good thing. I've never thought about that. I don't know what to make of it, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we call things does assign value to them. Just in societies. That's why things are called differently in different society, and depending on how they are called, the importance they are given to is different.
Yeah.
Hence, if they were called necessary and invaluable skills, you better believe in schools, they will give you the time they deserve.
So you were talking about marketing, basically. How the product is portrayed.
Yeah, I guess.
And the point that you're making is actually, I've never thought about it that way. And it makes sense. It makes sense because if you look around, there aren't too many things that you call soft that are regarded as extremely valuable, as extremely dominant.
Yes. And I would argue that the ability to regulate my emotion the ability to be empathetic while not being used or subservient, the ability to have a conversation with a partner without injuring their ego, without injuring their person, because sometimes it's necessary. That ability is taking me further in life than engineering skills.
Facts. Figure with men. You go out there and mess around and vex everybody. Yeah, that's true.
So if I was going to teach my kids something, I want to teach them that and teach them how to do any discipline. Because I know if they have that, it's going to open doors for them.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. So for Naju, this is a key.
I believe that is
a key thing.
That is a thing that we're going to focus on, even though I think my team is tired of me at this point. But
yeah, all right.
My guys, for me at least, as of now, I think this was a weird conversation that went many places I did not expect, but still a useful one. I think we learned a few things. We first started with complaining why it's bad, good or bad. And a rare moment where we absolutely have the firm belief that we can share that it's a negative. Do not complain. Avoid complaining. Even if silence is the other side of it, just be silent. Rather you be silent than you complain. Keep your words to yourself. So that one thing we learned. We also learned about the necessity of considering point of view in conflict resolution. That type of conversation. That's also something that we discussed, we learned. And what else we explored that has been new? Oh yeah, my obsession with how things are named. It's not just things are named, or word choices. What they convey, how they affect cultures, how they affect what we do. So I guess let not be fooled by names and teach our kids soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
And ourselves, actually. Some of us don't know soft skills. There's a lot of soft skills that I still need to acquire as I'm finding out.
And to enhance the ones that are already there, to improve upon them. Yeah, this thing about emotional maturity is real. I just used to think it was a buzzword, something nice to say, but it is real.
And everything is taught. So you need to figure out places for you to go learn them. I couldn't figure this out on myself. Honestly, it's all these years of going to, Tony Robbins seminar, with Peter Sage, and I'm exploring all these ideas about myself. Sometimes thinking myself, this is a waste of time and energy. And it took years of many things accumulating, the kind of books I read, how to make friends and influence people, right? I think that is one of the most important books ever written. We should read it. And also Outwitting the Devil also. That was a powerful.
Outwitting the Devil, yeah.
Outwitting the Devil, powerful book. Hopefully at some point we can start a book club with you guys in books. And that we think have taught us something. But at least I think we've learned something. And I think the conversation is going to its depth. And before we leave, I'd like to call you guys to action. Do something. Like and subscribe. Come on now. We think that this is a good idea to exchange and to think live about subjects that could be useful to not only us and an audience. And we know that to push it further, we need to garner a level of authority, meaning an audience that will allow us to bring people that are far much better than us at this exercise, so we might learn together. So for us to accomplish this goal, we need your help. Just like and subscribe. Do us a favor. And with that, unless Ben has something to say, I say goodbye.
Peace. Until next time.